I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket. Today I am joined by Bajo.
Hi.
Looking very fancy.
Thank you. I feel fancy.
Well, you haven't done up the top button though.
This is meant to be post-party.
Oh,
So,
right.
Yeah, everyone's a bit loose.
Right. You know, it's 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, the party was last night.
Good party. Today we're just going to be talking through Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Because we've both played a bit of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I think we were both pleasantly surprised.
It is goods.
Yeah.
It is goods.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy guy.
Talk to me about your Final Fantasy history.
Obviously when we've reviewed Final Fantasy on the show, I've played enough for the review. But like, I've never discovered it on my own, in my own kind of recreational gaming.
Yeah.
I was a Sega guy, so I never played much Nintendo, you know. And so I never really got into it. You know, I got into Zelda and a few other kind of like, you know, big Nintendo franchises, that sort of thing, big JRPG kind of stuff here and there, but I've never been a big JRPG guy, never been a big Final Fantasy guy, never really followed it, and this has been an interesting journey because I'm kind of on board with it now. I've never really understood like the mix of the world with the modern and the old, and I've been like, what is this world, right?
Still don't.
But I'm on board.
Yeah, so like I'm kind of the same, but I have far less experience with Final Fantasy. I played 7.
Yeah.
I enjoyed 7. Played it on the PS1.
That was a good one to play.
That was it. I mean, if we're gonna play a Final Fantasy, I
Yeah.
figure 7 is probably one of the 2 or 3 that you would.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them I've just ignored, but heavily criticized because I've watched lots of people play Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of Final Fantasy stuff. I've played lots of JRPGs. Never been interested. This one has boys on a camping trip, and so I like it much more.
Boy band in the forest.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they should have called it.
Now, how much have you played?
7 hours right now. So I've got through the whole first section. We filled up the car. The car you can't drive. You can't drive the car. It's on rails. It's just a flight path.
It's very strange, isn't it? Because there's 2 options. There's auto and manual. Auto is someone else drives the car and you sit as the passenger.
Yeah.
Manual is you drive the car.
Yeah.
But when you're manual, it's just hold
You
down
just have to hold the
R2.
button.
It turns. I tried to crash it.
You can't.
And it slowed down towards getting to the other car.
Yeah.
And then at the very edge, just like nicked the tail light.
Yeah, that's awful. In fact, there's a lot of world design that I find awful and dated, you know, like a lot of invisible walls, things you can't jump off. I just found navigating the world in general with the map and teleporting to the car and driving somewhere else, and then at nighttime you can't go very far because monsters come out. I just found all that really dated and frustrating, and yet I enjoyed just roaming around questing in this world. The quests are pretty epic.
So talk to me about why you are enjoying it, because I've only played about an hour or so so far. I know why I like it, but talk to me what's drawn you in.
2 reasons. One, the combat is quite deep. It's quite messy with the camera, but it's also there's some
that
nice.
camera's not good.
There's some nice strategy to it though, and I'm enjoying the big battles. You know, there's a nice harmony to the combat. Brought my harmonica.
Oh, come on. You set that up? You brought that just in case you said the word harmony?
And also, I quite like how you do all these links with the combat, like you link attacks, and then you have to like lots of quick time events, so all that's really engaging. I found a lot of the other Final Fantasy games, you just do one button, you know, get one of those drinking head things, and you can play it like that with a lot of the more recent kind of Final Fantasy.
This is literally one button combat.
No!
Yes, it's literally hold this button, and they do all the attacks, square does the block, and triangle does the dash
So
thing.
that's for a start, there's 3 buttons.
But
so you have just contradicted yourself, sir!
One, you can fight the whole thing with one button.
Yeah, but you will die, because it gets harder pretty quickly. If you're playing on easy, maybe. But you do have to start, you know, using the link attacks, and definitely switching weapons a lot, because, you know, certain weapons do more damage on different enemy types. You know, some enemy types are more susceptible to different types of weapons. I enjoyed playing around with all that, and once you start getting, like, ranged weapons and stuff, that's really cool. So I'm digging the combat.
Can I ask a question about the combat before
Yes.
we move on to the next thing? No. No one
It's a
said.
big party last
no
night.
one said
Me
the
and the cats.
Imagine you with the harmonica. You got one of those drums and the cymbal things that like are activated by the knees.
That's exactly what party was.
And the cats are sitting there going, "Please, why didn't he give us away as well?" So my question with the combat is, I did not find that it actually flows very well. I feel like it's going for that Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, over-the-top actiony sort of thing, but it never really felt like I was 100% in control of the character. I was just holding that button when I'm changing weapons. The weapon change was clunky. Did you find that, or?
I do hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I kind of 69% agree with you.
Yeah.
I think mostly it's just, this is a nice mixture of like old school Final Fantasy combat and kind of more modernized real-time combat.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, it's got its roots in there, and they're deep, and people really enjoy that combat. I quite like the Final Fantasy combat as well in the few games that I've spent time with, when I've really gotten into it and gone to the different layers of it. But more importantly, I think this is really accessible, this combat. Like, you just jump in there
definitely
and
accessible,
play it.
yeah.
And that's what they even had the big screen at the top when you start the game. Hey, this is for new people
It's
too!
for new
Please
people
play
too.
our game!
Yeah,
It's a bit
totally.
desperate, right?
Yeah, totally.
But I think they kind of nailed that part of it. The other part I really like is just how stupid it is. The boy bands, the noises they make in that Japanese way. They have a cutscene, it'll come back to one of them, and they're like, all those kind of noises, they're great. I love them. I love that their hair's crazy, and all the conversations they have are so silly.
This is generally the stuff, besides the grinding, that I don't like about JRPGs. Is the completely inane dialogue and terribly shallow characters. And
Totally.
stuff.
Oh, all the female characters in this, all they talk about so far that I've discovered is like relationships or flirting or who their boyfriends are. It's so stupid.
Yeah, and so generally in JRPGs, that's what I really dislike. There's something about this, though, where it feels like they are very stupid.
Yeah.
They are extremely camp.
Yeah.
But they have really tried to make it feel as though these are four friends.
Yeah.
That this is a group of people, and that as much as possible, they're talking all the time. They're constantly having these conversations, and the conversations are not, like, 80% of the conversations are not about anything, really. It's about just, like, friend shit talk. And it's terribly done, I have to say. Like, it feels as though every line has been individually recorded, and then they've just they've slipped them all a little bit, so it sounds as though it's overlapping naturalistic dialogue, but it's not, because it's like a wholly contained line just on top of another wholly contained line. But I appreciate the effort.
I love how stupid it is.
Yeah.
I actually really dig the conversations in the car. That's what you're driving in the car. Like, the only fun part about it is just listening to them chat. Like, they're trying to do character development wherever they can. When you camp at night.
Oh, the camping is the best.
And I love when you pick the food, because the guy's like, what will I cook? And then you pick it and he goes, that's the one.
I know.
And then he goes off screen.
And I picked fire scorched toast or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I picked toast, and he's like, inspiration. I'm like, it's bread.
It's toast. You just burn bread.
And
that's all you do.
Like, you think that the camping is going to be, oh, we're gonna light a fire and we're just gonna lie around it and fall asleep, and then you wake up the next morning and you're rested and whatever. They start pitching tents.
Yeah.
One of them turns up with like a sort of Harris farm bag, and he's got like the selfie camera.
Yeah. They're taking photos all the time. They stop. You're driving. Stop. Let's take a photo. Millennials.
The photos, I think the photos are the best part of the whole thing. The photos is brilliant. I love when games give you the power to take photos. You think about Firewatch, where you're part of the thing is taking a camera and taking an actual photo. Whereas this is great, because it's like, at random moments, this character just snapped a picture. The pictures are hysterical because they're just so random.
Yeah, they're so strange.
I've had people tweeting me
seen
their pictures. It's
so good.
great. It's great.
After one of the camps, one of the characters said, hey, let's go for a jog in the morning. I'm like, all right. And it was like the worst game mechanic jog ever. I'm just sprinting until I'm exhausted, It was awful. And yet, I think that's actually my favorite part of the game so far.
Going for a run.
Go for a run with one of my bros.
How much of the side quests have you done? Because I know that the game, like no story spoilers or whatever, but from what I've read about it, the first half of the game is quite open.
Yeah.
And you can go do lots of separate, like lots of side missions and that sort of thing. Then the second half of the game is super focused.
Oh,
and it's like you burn through story and you go to like heaps of different places. So the thing I'm worried about is that I will do some of the side questy stuff, which is what I do in JRPGs, or in RPGs in general. I do these side quests, and then I kind of burn out on the game because I've had my fill just doing these side quests. Have you been doing them? Have they been enjoyable?
I've been doing a few of them. I guess it'll determine whether the story hooks you in enough for you to progress further, right?
Yeah.
I've done like half story missions. half side quest. And I'm not burnt out. I'm curious about the world. They do a lot of good things in the world to pull you through, like a lot of objects in the distance that other characters are talking about that you want to go towards, you know, and find out what that's about. Although the people in the world kind of just wander about like they've all had lobotomies and like they're all a bit lost and out of it. Like they've all come from a big party the night before and they're just wandering through the street, right? It's quite beautiful. Yeah. I'm not burnt out though, mostly because I got to the second area, which is much more green, and you get to get chocobos for the first time, and watching 4 boy band members, hardcore boy band millennials, riding 4 ridiculously beautiful chocobos into the night is f***ing beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's what it is, right? It feels like it has, and maybe the other Final Fantasies have had this, and just because I haven't been deep in it, I haven't really had access to this. It just feels like it has a self-awareness of how silly it is.
Oh, yeah.
And a sort of joy in that, but being able to balance a bunch of interesting mechanics, because I mean, we talked about the camping and how cool the photos and hanging out and stuff is, but also the cooking, that you go, it's funny to pick the thing and he's like, oh, inspiration, but that's taking something where you go, you're preparing for the next day, you're preparing for the battles that you're going towards. These different foods give you different stats and all this sort of stuff, which is just, it's more interesting than just picking a potion in a menu and like equipping this like one stat percentage item. This is like, oh no, I have this meal that I share with friends and that actually helps me the next day.
Totally. They're really trying to build a bond between all these 4 characters.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame they're all 4 dudes. It's a shame there's not more diversity in the characters in general. Although they do have all different accents for no reason. Everyone in the game's accent doesn't match their face.
You meet Cindy and she's got some southern drawl.
Yeah.
Sort of like, very...
The whitest guy I've met in the game has like this dark Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
Dino, I think it's Brooklyn. Anyway.
I played the game. I played the game actually on Hex's account.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the copy we had. So when I continue playing, I'm gonna start again on mine. I might put it on Japanese audio.
Oh yeah.
Because I think I prefer that than listening to that.
I didn't mind it though.
Subtitles.
Because it adds to the ridiculousness.
It's so strange.
It just adds to it.
I'm absolutely going to continue playing it. I think for me, this is a game I need to stream because I have the most fun when I can... I had the most fun playing it yesterday because Pete was just cracking it behind the camera when we were looking at the photos and stuff. Yeah. So I feel like these kinds of silly games I need to share with people. Yeah. So I know we're running out of time before the end of the year, but I think I'm going to try to squeeze in a stream or 2 with it.
And you know what, though? Final Fantasy players, I don't think will find them very silly. You know, we find them a bit silly, but I think Final Fantasy fans will be like, no. That's it. That's not silly. That is the seriousness side of it.
Yeah, totally. But I'm genuinely surprised.
Me too.
And like I said, I've only played an hour, but the prevailing thought has been, this is a really good game.
You forgive all the little dated elements, like the constant black screens, and that takes control away from you all the time for a few seconds here or there. You just end up forgiving all that because it is just, there's an enjoyable gameplay loop there that has strong roots in a freaking long-running series, and I think they're kind of nailing the next step. I'm so excited for the next game as well, you know, especially because they'll take a lot of inspiration from what worked in this. Yeah, in 10 years' time, we'll get the next one.
Don't you think it's interesting, just quickly, it's been in development for 10 years, it does not feel like a dated game. To me, it definitely feels like it has
dead elements,
JRPG elements in it, but to me, I go, the fact that you've got this group of guys that are trying to have this real relationship being developed, that the way that they interact with the mechanics of the world, even though some of the mechanics might be clunky, the way that they've tied it all in, like we were talking about with the cooking and that sort of thing, it feels as though it's quite modern in its aesthetic. Which I was surprised about. I figured that they would have locked this in 6-7 years ago and it would feel quite stale.
It feels like they've made a game and gone, oh, we need to make this more modern to me. And they've just added some layers on and smoothed some things over and made some concessions here and there to finally finish it. But I think it's good enough to warrant playing. You know, I think they've smoothed over the parts that would have been deal breakers for me.
Very surprising. I'm very happy about it. I love when I find games that I can love. So
especially in a genre that we're not lovers of, right?
Exactly.
It might bring us into it.
Well, I'm so critical of this genre and
the franchise. Right?
Yeah, and there's definitely stuff in the game that I don't like, but like you said, there's more things that I do find fun and silly than things that I go, oh, this is a deal breaker for me. So well done, Square Enix. It's nice to enjoy it. Are you guys playing Final Fantasy? Are you enjoying it? Are you not? Let us know in the comments until we next talk through something, Bajo, take us out.
Ride a chocobo into the sunset. Cook up some toast.
Play any other combination of notes.
Okay, I don't know how to play the harmonica. That was an awful. Let's do that again. I'll do something better.
No.
Damn it.
That was the same thing, but slower.
Turn upside down. Help me out, Nick. Help me out. I'm drowning. I'm drowning in my own inadequacies.
Now I know how your cats feel.
Come on to my place for the party.